Hey there, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of the Victorious Ones podcast. Of course, this is your host, King Von Jr. You can follow me on social media on Twitter at 301 King Von Jr. Of course, on Instagram at Mr. King Von Jr. You can follow the show's Twitter page at Victory Pod 1. You can also follow the show's Instagram page at Victorious Ones Podcast. I'm also the social media producer for the Unpopular View wrestling show known as Perfect Plex Talk Radio on Mondays at 6 p.m. hosted by Mike Knox. And you can also occasionally find me on Unpopular Reviews top 5 episodes. But of course, I mean, man, this is a bombshell week, especially when it comes to the world of wrestling. It's just like where to start. And first and foremost, I want to thank my special guest last week, Marcus Marquis, of one of New York's top rising indie factions, prolific. You know what I mean? So thank you very much for taking out time of obviously the busy schedule for those that saw it last week. Of course, last week AEW Dynamite was in New York, and so for him to carve out that time to do an interview right before going in, I mean that. Like I said, you got my most respect for that. You know what I mean, being a man of your word. You know what I mean. So like I said, greatly appreciate it. Thank you very much for for those that shared their broadcast. And of course, his birthday was yesterday. Give him a happy belated birthday, and happy belated to Serena Williams, Asuka, many others. Give my birthday shout out to you much later on, separately. But that's a whole nother thing for another time. But it's just so much to cover right now. You know what I mean? And so of course, usually I like to do my rundown when it comes to my coverage of Ahsoka episode 7. Which was absolutely tremendous. You know what I mean? And also just the way the storylines are coming together, and just the way that this the show just picked up so much momentum is monumental. That, and of course, I'm going to go over a recap of NFL Week 3. And of course, but especially when we get to the main topics at hand, the arrival of the one and only Jade Cargill. Let me see. Definitely going to get into my bag. When it comes to this, you know what I mean. And let me see. I mean, like I said, this was something that I've been waiting for like the longest time. As I've said on Twitter. So of course, like I said, of course, follow me on Twitter at 301 King Von Jr. Of course, and by the way, make sure to follow the Victorious Ones. Follow me on YouTube at Von West Virginia. Of course, for more content. And what I mean, it's just like. Like wow, it's just like I say, just so much to cover all at one time. You know what I mean? So of course, I definitely want to give a special shout out, of course, to none other than the one only Jade Cargill herself, for her arrival, for her debut in the WWE. For Jade to make her appearance, just within the WWE universe. Is absolutely monumental. It's absolutely amazing, just to see, because of the fact that I've known that Jade, the arrival of Jade Cargill, the debut of Jade Cargill, sent shockwaves all throughout social media, all throughout the internet. The fact that ESPN covered it, speaks volumes that her stock has raised even higher. Even higher than when she's ever been in AEW. You know what I mean? So, but of course, like I said, more in that minute. But but of course, I like to go talk about of course, Ahsoka episodes. A brief rundown, of course, when it comes to episode 6. Of course, episode 6 was mainly focused on Sabine, as well as the arrival of Ezra, for those that are familiar with Clone Wars and Rebels and everything like that. So I like those Easter eggs and how they tie that together. And then when it came to episode 7 this week of Ahsoka, we saw Ahsoka's rematch with Balin. And and excuse me, and so of course, like I mean, that was an incredible lightsaber battle, and of course, for her to use the methods, and the training that Anakin gave her, it certainly worked out very well, and we could definitely see it um, in that, in that lightsaber battle, and also, like I said, and also just the tag teaming of, tag team of Sabine and Ezra. And so of course, like pretty much all roads are going to lead to Thrawn eventually. You know what I mean? So of course, I had mistaken Baylor's name, for Thrawn, but of course, like I said, this last episode is definitely going to, lead us to the Ahsoka versus Thrawn eventually. And what I mean? And so of course, shout out to Rosario Dawson for the way that she has carried this role, and just um, how intriguing this show has absolutely become, and really just it just it really it just more ways than one. And so what I mean, so of course, like I said, shout out to Disney Plus, and for just incredible content. And it's of course, now I'm gonna transition to NFL week 3. Sorry to sound like I'm just kind of just speaking through this process. Once again, youtube.com/@ Von Wrestling Jim. Please make sure to like and subscribe for more of this content. I don't want to sound like a YouTube, cheap YouTube plugin, but just give me a heads up. And so of course, like I said, when it comes to week 3, 49ers destroy the Giants, 30-12. The Lions Lions defeat the Falcons 20-6. Chargers defeat the Vikings 28-24. Minnesota is snake bit right now. The Packers defeat the Saints 18-17 at home. The Texans crush the Jaguars 37-17. The Dolphins demolish the Broncos 70-20. That is historic right there. I mean, annihilate them, obliterate them. Just throw the whole Broncos team away at this point. Like I said, 70-20. Miami Dolphins. And so, of course, the Browns destroyed the Titans 27-3. The Bills destroyed the Commandos 37-3. Of course, the Colts defeat the Ravens 22-19. The Patriots defeat the Jets 15-10. Seahawks defeat the Panthers 37-27. Chiefs, of course, just completely steamroll over the Bears 41-10. The Cardinals, unfortunately, defeat my Cowboys 20-16. Steelers defeat the Raiders on Sunday Night Football 23-18. And on Monday Night Football, a doubleheader, the Eagles defeat the Buccaneers 25-11. And the Bengals defeat the Rams in a Super Bowl rematch 19-16. So that is your recap of NFL Week 3. And so of course, of course, with all that business out the way, like I said, I definitely want to talk about stuff that's way more pressing. Stuff that's like I said, that's way more headline worthy right now at the moment. So of course, with so of course I'm talking about none other than none other than WWE's latest huge, like, major signing. Someone who is just someone who I consider to be a franchise star in the making, none other than the Queen herself, Jade Cargill. And of course, I've shown this picture before, by way of the tweet that I just shared. But of course, Jade Cargill, business is about to pick up. The fact that ESPN reported her arrival speaks volumes. And like I say, just like I said, it just like it's a testament of her, of her upside, a testament of her value, of her potential, of her star power. And just how she fits that WWE mold, how she fits that that prototype, that archetype of what they're looking for when it comes to a WWE superstar, especially when it comes to women's superstar. And so and just for her to come with this much fanfare, the fact, and I've said before, even on Turnbuckle Talk yesterday, even on another show that that call into called Turnbuckle, as I mentioned before, Turnbuckle Talk, excuse me, tongue tied. But but of course I was talking about how Jade has become bigger just off of this headline of signing with WWE than she's ever been during her AEW tenure. And the attention that she got just by walking to the performance center from that video, the attention that she received, just from that video of her yesterday walking to the performance center. I mean, like I said, that broke the internet. And there was a stat that WWE posted how that video of Jade going to the performance center. Um, Stop sharing, but yeah, like I said, how that video had like 14 million views, and the fact that the news hit WWE's website, you know what I mean. So for those that are constantly worried, constantly cynical about WWE fumbling the ball, people love to use that term. WWE quote unquote fumbling the ball with Jade Cargill. Now they have no other choice but to, um, you know, sorry about that. Like I say, the thing about it is that now WWE has no other choice but to put her in the best positions to succeed. Sorry about that. Yeah, like I said, like I said before, the thing about it is that WWE has officially put their own feet to the fire. So now they have no other choice but to give the best possible opportunities, put in the best positions to succeed, best positions to thrive, and so and the thing about it is that for me, I would say that Jade going going from AEW to WWE is like going from the Clippers to the Lakers. Jade being in going from AEW to WWE is like going from the Clippers to the Lakers, right? And and so it's just that it's just like she was um, a large fish in a small pond, if not a shark in a small pond. So now she is inside an aquarium. So now she's with the best of the best that will give her no other choice but to step her game up. And so it's just like for her being such a high commodity when it came to her signing. What I mean? It's just like I said, so much attraction, so much fanfare, but at the same time, one could also say that it's on one end you can say that it's great to put a target on her back for those that may start to feel insecure, that may this may this could possibly reveal certain insecurities in other superstars, you know what I mean, and also it's just like it's just like the ball is in your court. Now it's time for you to shoot, and of course, by the way, um, as a matter of fact, with the news of Jade, like when they're all rumors of Jade going to WWE, when the news hit of her going to the Performance Center and all this other type of stuff, and people were concerned about her having a name change. And of course, I want to give a special shout out to Stephanie Hypes, who on Twitter, who's the #1 Becky Lynch fan, by the way. She was coming up with with different possible names, names for Jade in WWE. Like I said, whether it was Jade Storm, Jade Sapphire, I think it was like the top two names that came up. I was like, Jade Storm's like super WWE. It would be funny if her finishing movie would be The Quiet Storm. Of course, a tribute to the Mob Deep, and of course, she might, be funny in things. Somebody even did posted like somebody like a gif of Lil Kim doing that Mob Deep dance, that Quiet Storm dance, whatever, as Jay sent up finisher. You know what I mean? So I thought that was just downright hilarious. And so of course for me, I have no chill at all when it comes to these names. You know what I mean? So of course that kind of pretty much caught on for a little while. But of course this was all before we found out that Jade is going to keep her name, right? And so with that, so of course with that being said, I know that um, shout out to Jabba Tears, of course, but um, especially Wilkins. So Wilkins, like one, I know one of his biggest criticisms, one of the biggest critiques that we had for Jade is he's always said that Jade hasn't had enough reps, right? So now Jade has checked that off, check that box off her list, right? In terms of getting reps, in terms of getting more training, getting more time in the ring and things like that. So I think that was the biggest critique, because the fact that was the biggest critique of Jade in AEW when it came to her in-ring skills, and there wasn't. And I know the biggest critique was the fact that a lot of people felt that she hadn't really shown enough progress, enough growth, and I think that's a big reason why when Black Wrestling did their VIP 50, Jade went from number 3 last year to number 13 to number 13 this year, because I think a big reason why is because a lot of people felt that Jade's matches still look the same, and not like seeing pretty much not much has really changed, and then how limited her move set was. But near the end of her AEW tenure, those last 2 matches, apparently she started to show more improvement, more growth in the ring. You know what I mean? And like she started, I guess, to look more comfortable in the ring. You know what I mean? And so I would say that to me, would be more upside to carry over into WWE. You know, and so so of course, yesterday, in Jade's very first day in WWE, she was in the performance center. Of course, the pictures are out there of her training and getting her reps, and just really being a student of the game, just soaking everything in. What I mean? It's like just when it comes to just absorbing so much. Uh, just really, it's like just absorbing as much of the business as she possibly can to be the very best that she could possibly be. And I know that sounds very cliche, but I firmly believe that. And also, um, today I was listening to Jay's interview on the Masked Man show with David Shoemaker and Kaz, and she addressed doing more reps and being the best that she possibly be, and also when it comes to just when it comes to like the ideas of potential matchups, and really, what I mean, it's just like, really, it's just like so many um, scenarios that you can throw Jade in when it comes to rivalries. You know what I mean? And also, like, in the fact that the Jade is still trending even today, a day later, Jade is still doing numbers on the internet. You know what I mean? And and like I said, that just speaks volumes to her star power. Just speaks volumes to now she is in the best environment to succeed. She is now in the very best environment to um, to grow. You know what I mean? And the thing is, the thing about it, also in the best environment to make a bigger mainstream name for herself, right? And I feel as though in AEW, she wasn't really afforded those type of crossover opportunities, because the thing is that fan base is more so about quote unquote work rate. You know what I mean? Like that fan base isn't really into, I'm not gonna paint a broad brush, but the general consensus when it comes to the typical AEW fan base, um, they're if anything, AEW's not doesn't really care too much about mainstream pop culture stuff. They're not really invested in like the SBs and Wally Mania and ESPN and all this other stuff, all these other venues and things like that. Even though Jay did make an appearance on the Breakfast Club, but the thing about it is that like the thing about it is, generally speaking, AEW doesn't really cater to those outlets. They don't really cater to those markets. Like it's more so about it's more so about wrestling, like work rate, and they cater more towards the indie crowd. You know what I mean? So like that's why you have like some Young Bucks and JF, Darby and Hook and all these other people and stuff like that. If anything, like I say, like they cater more towards um, the indie fans, right? And so meanwhile, Jade is more so when it comes more so catered towards the sports entertainment aspect. Even though she could certainly improve so much more by leaps and bounds in the ring, but at the same time, in WWE, presentations first. You know, Vince like, the thing is, Vince has seen so many people that can wrestle. But his question is, can you sports entertain? You know, and so Jade has that presentation. There are people who've been asking whether or not Jade needs a manager, and whatnot. But you could give her one, but I still firmly believe that Jade can more than hold her own on the mic. You know what I mean? And so like I said, it's just that to see Jade do numbers online just off of a WWE site, and it's just like it's just pretty much it's just like a who's who when it comes to um, you know who it just pretty much boils down to a who's who of different possibilities and different opponents for Jade to face. And certainly she is certainly Jade has caught the attention of many different people. You know what I mean? Like it was make like I say, many different many different stars within the company to the point where Bianca Belair liked one of Jade's posts, so she knows what's up. You know what I mean? Charlotte Flair in a previous interview going into WrestleMania, Charlotte was asked, like who she went to face. Jade's name is one of the names that came up, right? And so, so the thing about it is that, and also, let's see, let me go and share this. There was recently an interview from Becky Lynch. Yeah. Sorry about that. So like I said, like I said, the thing about it is that it was recently an interview with Becky Lynch, where she said, "I watch all the products referencing other promotions, of course, AEW, Impact, whatever you want to name." I think it's great. More women with more platforms. I think she has a lot of work to do when she gets here. But if she's willing to do that, just look at her. She's a star. It's more people for me to get in the ring with and kick their asses. What I mean. And so yeah. So as far as that, what I mean. So like I said, the fact, like I said, the fact that that Jade is on some, on a lot of people's radars. You know what I mean? Like I said, especially like especially with the bigger names, like I said, like Becky's, your Bailey's. You know what I mean? And as a matter of fact, Bailey even quote tweeted the headline of Jade joining WWE. You know what I mean? As far as like, of course, so like as far as like calling herself a role model and things like that. And so Jade even talks about her goals, in WWE. She says, "I understand why I'm here. I want to capture gold. I want to headline WrestleMania, but none of that is handed out. I want to work to create those phenomenal moments." Let me see. Let me go ahead and share it again. Anyway, yeah. So for those, see, I'm looking like I'm getting the hang of this sharing thing. I think it's funny. Yeah. So like I said, of course, by way of Fightful. So anything that Fightful reports, you can definitely bank on. Fightful is wrestling's version of Woj when it comes to the NBA. So of course, Jade Cargill talks about goals in WWE. I understand what I'm here for. I want to capture gold and I want to headline WrestleMania, but none of that is handed out. I want to work to create those phenomenal moments. I want to have marquee matches. I want to get people talking. I want to create something bigger than myself. And so what better place to do that is, what better place to do that, than WWE, at least in my estimation. And so, so it's just like, I know that Jade is going to do like I said, just going to do absolutely phenomenal things. And so, so of course, like I said, like I said, the fact that she's on so many different people's radars right now, and I know the ultimate marquee match that everybody wants to see, out of this whole Jade Cargill acquisition, this whole thing is, if anything, this is the number one attraction out of all out of all the other Jade Cargill possibilities. Dream matches is none other than Queen versus Queen, Black Excellence. You know what I mean? Like, two strong, um, fearless, powerful, independent Black women wrestlers. You know what I mean? And it's just like, like I said, that they are, um, so that they're inspirational. And it's just like so many other words that I can name. Like, so Jade versus Bianca is, is at the top of a lot of people's lists when it comes to the ultimate marquee matchup for Jade. You know what I mean? And of course, like I said, like I said, not just the thing about not just Jade versus Bianca, but also um, Jade versus Charlotte. You know what I mean? It's like I said, Jade versus Charlotte, Jade versus Rhea, Jade versus Bailey, Jade versus Asuka, Jade versus the world at this point. And so, I know there are people who who want to see her go to NXT first. That'd be great. Because of the fact that she's going to be under the wings of none other than Mr. WrestleMania himself, Shawn Michaels, an all-time great goat in his own right. You know what I mean? And someone who you have no other choice but to step your game up around him. Like I say, when it comes to Shawn Michaels, Smiley, and so there is a multitude of training that Jade can certainly have under her wing. And so, you know what I mean? Like I said, like I said, it really, just to me, I would say that the possibilities are limitless. The possibilities are absolutely endless when it comes to, you know, Jade's. Sorry about that. Like I said, the thing about it is that, like I said, the possibilities for Jade are, like I said, are just incredible. You know what I mean? So, as I said before, I am someone who's now, even though I'm realistic, but I'm not going to be all the way pessimist about things. Because the fact that it's easy for people to look at WWE pessimistically. I guess that's a word. You know what I mean? Just because of the previous track record. But I'm one of those people that, I mean, it's easy to look at what's been done wrong, but also I think I firmly believe at at what has been done right. Because if WWE WWE is more known for doing things wrong than doing things right. If the wrong far outweighs the right, then they would not be in business for as long as they've been in business. You know, um, so they have had their fair share of L's, but they have had more than their fair share of W's. So I feel as though that term, the term fumble the bag or fumble the ball, it's just like I want to go ahead and just grab a sledgehammer and smash that phrase. Just because it's been so overused, and the thing is, it's like people there are times people would use it, even out of context. People use that term even without the situation really being fumbled. It may feel like some people may feel like something will be fumbled in their eyes, but it could be a success in another way. You know, if that makes any sense. But yeah, like I said, I'm one of those people who looks at the glass half full rather than half empty. You know what I mean? And so I'm looking at the glass half full when it comes to Jade. You know, and so um, like I said, I wish, just nothing but the absolute best for her. You know what I mean? And just keep looking up because the best is yet to come. So, maybe that, that is the way I look at things. And so now moving on to, uh, like I said, like I said, pretty much like I said, moving on to the main event that I want to talk about, wrestling and comics. And so I pretty much been trying to think about like I said, a title for this series. And the thing is, the thing about it is I've had a conversation. Um, I've had many conversations, but I was especially interviewed. Shout out to Backstage Brawl about this. Like I said, wrestling comics. So of course now is the time that I can finally like dive even deeper into this, right? And so, I've been sharing it all over social media. And of course, I just released part 3 of my 4-part series, of articles where I compare wrestlers to comic book characters, whether hero or villain, doesn't even matter. And so, of course, once again, I'm going to give a special shout out to Backstage Brawl. Special, of course, shout out, to Backstage Brawl, Eric and Randy. Like I say, it was an absolute honor to finally be a guest on their show. And this is going on almost 2 weeks coming up. And so of course, I was on there for this Saturday, September 16th episode, and the main like I said, the main topic that that we discussed was wrestling and comics. And so and I feel as though when you look at wrestling and comics, I feel as though that they pretty much go, excuse me, like I said, I feel as though they pretty much go hand in hand. And so in the sense that because of the storylines, because of the characters, because because of the fact that they are so much larger than life, right? And so what I mean, and think about it is that the thing the thing is like when we look at wrestlers and we look at superheroes or villains, there's so many different similarities when it comes to their personalities. And so my job, at least my mission, was to find the best pairings, the best um, references and examples of examples that I could think of when it came to just like like so just when it came like so for me when it came to just parallels and because of the fact that I feel as though wrestlers and like saying so, um, I feel like so I feel as though you know wrestlers and comic book characters have more in common than people sort of give them credit for, right? And so, like I said, just because because of the fact that there's so many similarities when it comes to their story arcs, when it comes to you know uh, situations and things like that. So, for me, all right then, like I said, so, um, for me, they pretty much go hand in hand. Go hand in hand. So in the background, sorry about that. I was just looking for different pictures to use, but what I mean, it's like, but I'm pretty much just gonna go with what I have. If anything, if anything, for those who follow me on social media, like so on Twitter and on Instagram, you already see my threads, and I know that they have been getting a lot of attention. You know what I mean? And so, man, I like the engagement that these posts have created, and how people just add on different ideas, just add on different examples and analogies and things like that. And so um, there's several that really stand out for me, but I'm going to just pick the ones that really stick out the most. Just because on that Backstage Brawl episode, I ran off so many different like examples all at one time. You know what I mean? And thing about it is that You know, um, when you look at it, you could see the different cases that can be made. You know, when you look at it, like the thing is with the way that I explain it, people can listen to it, and they may have different examples, but when you listen carefully, be like, yeah, I see where it's coming from. I definitely respect. I definitely see, like I say, see the angle that it's coming from, and so um, one of the things that sparked this was, was the fact that I seen black wrestling do um, a conversation. Yeah, because the thing is, I seen black wrestling um, create this concept of hip hop and comics. I mean, not hip hop and comics, hip hop and wrestling. Excuse me. You know what I mean? It's so like like I said, this idea was really inspired by them. Come up with their own comparisons of wrestling and hip hop, and I would say that a lot of them were spot on, especially because I remember even before Mimi had posted the article with with the different wrestling and hip hop comparisons. I remember BRP did this huge had this like huge conversation on Twitter about wrestling hip hop, and who are the hip hop equivalents to wrestlers. So of course it was black wrestling. It was Tay, myself. I did the best that I possibly could. I was I was looking at. I walked away. I was like, okay, I did the best I could, but part of me was like, you know what? Um, I felt I wasn't really in the best element that I could possibly be in. But like I said, of course, I'm never going to really challenge them when it comes to like when it comes to wrestling and hip hop. Comparisons, because that's pretty much what they specialize in. That's like their expertise. You know what I mean? That is I mean, they thrive in that to the point where they even discussed it. It was a huge discussion at BlurCon about wrestling and hip hop. And so I was like, all right, then, after I saw that, I was like, you know what? All of a sudden, the wheels started spinning for my own wrestling ideas. When it comes to wrestling and pop culture. So like I said, that was their thing when it comes to wrestling and hip hop, and they absolutely thrived off of that. I mean, it's absolutely remarkable. So shout out to them for all the different examples. So with me, long story short, I was like, you know what? Let me come up with my own concept, something that's going to stand out in its own way. So, like I say, of course, I'm a fan of hip hop itself, and I felt as though that project was perfect, especially with this year being 50 years of hip hop. So why not, right? And um, of course, for them, that like when they had the Twitter conversation, it was all about just brainstorming, just stuff, right? So I was like, you know what? Let me just create my own like if anything, I just create my own thread about wrestlers as comic book characters. I appreciate the way that thread caught on, and it certainly sparked conversations. It certainly I certainly believe that it sparked ideas for people to come up with their own analogies to come up with their own references and things like that. So really, that's ultimately what this is all about. And like I said, I like the way that it's created dialogue, and often very funny dialogue as well. As some of the responses was just downright hilarious with some of that stuff. And of course, if Randy and Eric, I mean, after watching later on, they know exactly what I'm talking about. But of course, like I say, of course, without further ado, I know that I feel like I'm kind of been talking in circles about this, but of course, I definitely look into some, I definitely get into some of these comparisons. Um, for one comparison that I want to talk about, I didn't really have time to talk about on the Backstage Brawl episode. I wanted to bring up The Rock and Thor, right? And so the reason why I want to go, I said like this. Um, the reason why I say, the reason why I picked Thor as The Rock's, um, the reason why I picked Thor to be, the reason why I picked Thor to be Rock's comic book equivalent is because, simply put, in order for someone to be a parallel of Thor, you got to be charismatic. You know, you got to have physique. You got to have the strength. You got to have, you have to have I said, enough confidence to refer to yourself in the third person. You know what I mean? You have to be someone who knows how to bring the house down. You have to, plain and simple, you have to be someone that is, in one simple word, electrifying. So, who more electrifying to be compared to the God of Thunder than the great one himself, The Rock? You know what I mean? So, and the thing about The Rock and Thor is that both of them come from families that are dynasties. You know, you know, of course, Rock. We all know about the legendary, iconic Anawani family, right? And so of course, how he exceeded the expectations of his grandfather, the High Chief Peter Maivia, and his dad, Rocky Johnson. You know, and of course they become, of course, The Rock has become the symbol of the Anawani family. He's become the symbol of the Samoan dynasty. You know what I mean? And so of course, The Rock, so like I said, because of the fact that The Rock calls himself the most electrifying man in sports entertainment. Of course, his resume speaks for itself. Because of the fact that because of that he's a 10-time world champion. He's one of the greatest. One of the greatest superstars. Just cross over major, iconic names that wrestling has ever produced. You know what I mean? Like I said, like saying, so so as far as also when you think about Samoans, it's just like it feels as though when it comes to wrestling, their DNA is superior to everybody else's. You know what I mean? So it's just like they are, just a completely special group of people. You know what I mean? So, much like how Asgardians are a very unique, superpowered form of people. So like so Samoans, Asgardians pretty much go hand in hand, just like superpowered genetics just leads just pretty much just leaps and bounds above everybody else. So meanwhile, Thor, we all know he's the son of Odin, you know what I mean? And so he has exceeded his dad's expectations. And so now he has become the most successful, most successful Asgardian of all time, most powerful Asgardian, son of Asgard, son of Odin, the ruler of Asgard, the protector of all 9 realms. You know what I mean? And so the thing is, Rock and Thor are both known for superhuman strength, along with charisma. They're super duper electrifying, but also, of course, they're both known for having superhuman level egos. And arrogance had, become physically manifested. And of course, the Great One and Asgard's favorite son would perfectly fit that description. And so of course, but at the same time, they know how to back up their boasting when it matters the most, in the heat of the battle, in the heat of a war. And so so of course, so of course, the same way that The Rock has become the most accomplished member of the Anawani family, Thor has he's gone from being the Prince of Asgard to the King of Asgard, and he is their absolute greatest warrior. And so of course, like I said, because of the fact that both of them have eclipsed their family legacies, and so so of course, for those reasons, I would say that I'll say that The Rock and Thor are very similar with one another, right? And so John Cena and Superman, I mean, this is a no-brainer. You know what I mean? Like I said, they're both known for super strength. They are the ultimate symbols of hope. They're, like I said, they are the also, like I said, if you were to make a logo, like I said, if there was one superhero that could be the logo of DC Comics, it would be Superman. If there was one wrestler that could be the logo for WWE, it's John Cena. They're the poster boys of their respective brands, of their respective universes. They are clean cut, super duper polished. They live by, they live by a very strong code of ethics and morals. They're very upright. You know what I mean? Like I said, they're very polished, very squeaky clean, super superhuman, super strong, and like I said, they are highly decorated. You know what I mean? And so like I said, they fit what it means to be the symbol of hope, what it means to be a hero. You know what I mean? Like that they are the quintessential role models. You know, but also at the same time, uh, others have accused them of being boring. Others have accused them of being force fed. You know what I mean? So of course, I would say that those are some of the biggest. If anything, for me, I would say that those are some of the biggest criticisms for them. You know what I mean? But also um, the people that criticize them have no clue of what truly makes them great underneath the surface, right? And so the thing is, Superman. The thing about it is that both Cena and Superman have been household names, icons for decades. You know, Superman's become an icon because the writers, because the writers have found different ways to make him special, other than strength alone. You know what I mean? Superman has defeated so many different enemies, not just off of strength, but off of his off of his mentality. So the thing about it is that the thing is that Superman um, has beaten his opponents not just off of strength, but being mentally tougher than them. You know, um, he's found ways to beat Lex Luthor just by being strategic. You know, and so when it comes to facing an opponent like Lex, Superman couldn't just rely off of strength alone. He had to rely off of strategy, off of being mentally tougher than Lex, off of being mentally tougher than Brainiac or Darkseid or General Zod or you name it. You know what I mean? The thing is, like I said, Superman doesn't just win off of power, off of strength, off of his superhuman speed and everything, all these other physical attributes, but he's able to beat them up here where it counts the most. When it comes to Cena, you can say the same. When it comes to John Cena, you can say the same thing for him as well. Um, you know, a lot of people think that Cena is just it's just muscle, but no real IQ. You know what I mean? And the thing about it is that the thing is I've seen it. One of Cena's biggest criticisms for a long time was that people were saying that he couldn't wrestle, right? But the thing is that Cena's ring psychology is better than what people give him credit for, right? And he has found ways to beat opponents not just off of strength alone, but the thing is, he's been able to beat them. Um, you know, so, um, you know, Cena's been able to beat, like I said, some of his greatest rivals from the likes of Edge, Randy Orton, Batista, and so on and so forth, off of more than just power. You know what I mean? He's beating them off of, um, you know, just being mentally tougher than them and just being able to rise above, rising above opposition, just rising above adversity, just rising above whatever onslaught that they throw his way. You know what I mean? So that's in that aspect. Um, at the most critical times where John Cena and Superman are needed the most, they rise to the occasion. You know, so for me that is why I have John Cena and Superman. Um, why have John Cena and Superman's parallels? And and for me, I don't think it takes rocket science to figure that that John Cena and Superman are one and the same. And the fact that Cena's nickname is Super Cena, you know what I mean? So they go hand in hand. Um, Meanwhile, I would say that Roman Reigns feels more like Injustice Superman, and the reason why I say that is because of the fact that um, Roman has become John Cena's successor, right? And so, and, and think about it, initially when Roman was anointed as the heir to Cena's throne, he was met with a lot of hate. He was met with a lot of backlash. He was met, with just so much resentment from the internet crowd, right? To the point where he was booed out the building mercilessly, like for years. You know what I mean? And so, so of course, got to a point where Roman just developed, just developed a darker edge, right? And he just tapped into to that villainous side of him, to the point where he became bloodthirsty and became the tribal chief. And he became who he is today. And so, and also not only that, but Roman even has a move called the Superman Punch. So, I mean, they're already telling you right there, right then. It's right before you, right then and there. So now that Roman has become the head of the bloodline, he's become the head of the table, his tribal chief, this, like just almost like this imperial general, right? He's become bloodthirsty, much like Superman. Like just in a whole nother universe, uh, we see that Superman has just gone mad, you know, and much like Roman, Superman is bloodthirsty. You know what I mean? Like anybody who, anybody who disagrees with his way of thinking gets annihilated, gets destroyed. Case in point, look what Superman did to Shazam. Case in point, look at what Roman has done to Sami Zayn as well as Jey Uso. You know what I mean? So pretty much like, I mean, that writes itself. I mean, if you want to make a case for Roman being dark side, you know what I mean? Just because of the fact that Roman's a gaslighter, dark side's a gaslighter. Paul Heyman, great goodness, just like we said on Backstage Brawl. If you want to make a case for Roman being Omni-Man and Jey Uso being invincible, you know what I mean? Like, this is like so many different possibilities, but for me, I stuck with Roman as Injustice Superman in that aspect. For me, I would say that, I would say that Undertaker is Galactus, just because they're both sort of like final boss type of characters, whose presence is larger than life. You know what I mean? It's just like, they're very ominous, very mysterious. Um, they're known for bringing chaos and destruction, um, in each battle that they're in. And they are super duper tough to beat when it comes to video games as well. You know what I mean? Like, for instance, Galactus in Marvel vs. Capcom 3 had to be the toughest boss to ever face in any of those games. Undertaker in 2K14, felt like it took forever to break that streak. I mean, that speaks for itself. Galactus gets his power from eating planets. Undertaker, as the streak went on, he became more powerful, more dominant. So the more wins he racked up, the stronger he became, right? And so, as far as that, and also like I said, just when it comes to their personas, like I said, when it comes to their personalities, they feel very, very similar. You know what I mean? Like the fact that they both are known for very few words, but their presence speaks for itself. And in order to beat them, you have to be very strategic. It's definitely gonna be a fight. Like I said, whether win or lose, you know what I mean. Like I said, it would definitely be, by the skin of your teeth, basically. You know what I mean. So like I said, they're incredibly formidable, and also, what I mean. And so, like I said, just pretty much, um, you know, like I said, they're like just final boss, all powerful type of figureheads. You know what I mean? So that's why I had Undertaker and Galactus, um, side by side in that aspect. So of course when it comes to like I said, when it comes to Shawn Michaels and Iron Man, they're both they're both legendary heroes, high flyers who have legendary egos. They've been known for bragging and boasting about their accomplishments. Like I said, they rose. And so they both had a very meteoric rise to power, meteoric rise to success, but also their personal problems, their demons got in the way, and it caused a catastrophic downfall. And so for Iron Man, his for Iron Man, his drinking problems got so bad to the point where Rhodey, aka War Machine, ended up having to be his replacement for a while. Shawn Michaels, his drug problems and substance abuse problems and things like that got so out of control that Triple H had to be his replacement as the leader of DX, right? Um, Eventually, they both, um, you know, did a 180, got cleaned up, transformed, got the lives turned around. Shawn Michaels became a born again Christian, accepted Jesus into his life. And of course, not only was his life reborn and transformed, but his career was transformed as well. He was rebuilt, rejuvenated, you know what I mean, and went on to have some of the greatest matches of his career, and had a very epic send off and an incredible ending at WrestleMania 26 against the Undertaker. So I'm not gonna count the 2018 match. That's non-canon, but but anyway, but like I said, Shawn Michaels had, like I said, a rebirth, a renaissance, if you will, in that return. Whereas Iron Man, eventually, he overcame his demons. He overcame his habits. Of course, he was just like Shawn Michaels. He was rebuilt, reborn. You know what I mean? And of course, um, had like of course afterwards, developed the bleeding edge armor, nanotech, and things like that, and went on to have some of the greatest storylines of his career as well. Both of them settled down, had families, you know what I mean, and everything like that. So, you know what I mean. Of course, we all know about Iron Man's ending. As far as Endgame went out with a bang. You know what I mean. So as far as that, that's why I feel as though Sean and Iron Man are are pretty much one and the same. Brett and Cyclops, I mean, that's a no-brainer. That's a slam dunk right there. You know what I mean? And of course, they're both known not only for these, you know, they love sunglasses, but also they're quintessential leaders. They're sharpshooters. You know what I mean? And of course, they're traditionalists. They are very loyal. Like no matter like so whether good or turbulent times. You know what I mean? So of course, Bret Hart is the most technically proficient wrestler of all time. You know what I mean? At least my estimation. And also Bret, like I said, Bret was the biggest standout of the Hart Dungeon, of the Hart family. And so on. So of course, he was a loyal soldier and leader during, during one of WWF's most turbulent times of all time, right? So of course, and because of the fact that he was a traditionalist, and and of course, there was a part of Brett that um, didn't really know how to make adjustments to change. Brett, as as great as he was as a technical wrestler, as great as he was as a leader and things like that, um, he had a way of being stuck in his ways, set in his ways. And so when it came time when it came time for a culture change in wrestling, he didn't really know how to adjust to the changing times. you know, and that culture change came in the form of Stone Cold Steve Austin in Austin 2016. So that's when they started butt heads, right? And so when it comes to Cyclops, much like Brett, sharpshooter, Cyclops is one of the most technically proficient fighters. Um, you know, not just in X Men, but just in Marvel in general, right? He has been he's the quintessential leader. He's the ultimate leader of the X Men. Professor X is the most loyal soldier of the group. And of course he's a traditionalist. Who does it? Who's not? Who who's really who struggles when it comes to um, change. Just like Brett, he doesn't really handle change very well. He doesn't really handle um, culture change very well, right? And so, what I mean. So that's why when Wolverine arrives, him and Cyclops butted heads right away. You know what I mean? Because they both had different ideals and things like that. And so, so of course, Wolverine is a culture changer for the X Men, and and also with the way that his popularity outshines Cyclops. I mean, that speaks for itself, right? You know what I mean? So of course that's because Wolverine is Stone Cold are one and the same. Like I said, both of them generally known as being loners. but they joined, but they joined the company. Like I said, joined teams that represented a bigger cause than themselves, right? And so, like I said, both of them are culture changers. Both of them are known as being defiant, known as being rebels. You know what I mean? And their popularity is unmatched. You know what I mean? They're, like I said, and also like I said, because of the fact that they were catalysts for change, catalysts for rejuvenating their respective franchises. Like I said, Stone Cold was the catalyst for the Attitude Era as they defeated WCW in the Monday Night War. Wolverine was the catalyst for saving the X-Men and bringing new life to that series, because there was a point where the X-Men were, like I said, were about to be canceled. You know what I mean? But the thing is, once Wolverine was added to the lineup, their popularity escalated, and they never looked back, right? And so, what I mean, and of course, like I said, like I said, both have very strong, you know, like, like I said, both have very strong, they're both very fundamentally sound when it comes to their fighting style, when it comes to their technique, but they both choose violence, right? And so, so of course, that's why I say, that's why I say Austin and Wolverine are one and the same. You know what I mean? Brock Lesnar and Doomsday are absolute destroyers. You know what I mean? Like they're absolute wrecking machines. They are agents of chaos. They are absolute destroyers. You know what I mean? Like, so of course, Doomsday is known for killing Superman. So of course, Brock Lesnar's biggest claims to fame are breaking the Undertaker streak and destroying John Cena at WrestleMania, with those 16 German suplexes, right? So those are pretty much his equivalents of Doomsday, of Doomsday killing Superman. So you know, what I mean? So of course, I mean, they're absolutely merciless. You know, what I mean? They're ruthless monsters. You know, and Brock looks like a human version of Doomsday right now with that beard, right? And so yeah, like I say, so as far as that, um, I also say that like Trish Stratus is Wonder Woman in the sense that that they are the symbols of of women's empowerment. They are the quintessential goats. Like I say, when it comes to when it comes to respective fields, Wonder Woman is is considered to be the goat when it comes to women superheroes. Trish, in many ways, is considered to be the goat when it comes to women's wrestling, right? And like saying, like they just symbolize empowerment. They're trendsetters. They're pioneers in so many different ways. I mean, that's self-explanatory itself. And Trish even has a shirt that's inspired by Wonder Woman. So I mean, they're one and the same. China and She-Hulk, that's self-explanatory. Like I say, there's powerhouse. So, pioneer women heroes. They broke down doors. You know what I mean? Like, if anything, they broke their own barriers. Like I said, when it comes to just being on the same platform as men and things like that, they're absolutely fearless. In all that they did. And so, like I said, that's why I have China and She-Hulk. Now, I had to make a change. I had to call audible when it came to Charlotte and Captain Marvel. I actually go with more so Charlotte and Emma Frost from X-Men because of the fact that they're both queens. They're both known for wearing robes. Both of them have blonde hair, very recognizable. Um, they're both, like I said, they're both very dominant. Emma Frost has, in fact, Emma Frost can turn her skin into metal and become like bullet, like crystals or whatever, and become bulletproof and things like that. Charlotte is pretty much seen as untouchable, unstoppable in her own aspect. In that sense, you know what I mean. So the thing about it is that, um, you know, so, of course, they're both known for playing mind games as well. Um, Emma Frost's arch rival is Jean Grey, aka Phoenix. Sasha, one of Charlotte's arch rivals, Sasha, aka Mercedes, right? And so, so as far as that, they're both known for being on the side of both good and bad, and so what I mean. So of course, like I said, they both they're both known for having tip top fighting skills. You know what I mean. So like I said, just really just their demeanor, just their presence when it comes to being queens, when it comes to just royalty. You know what I mean? Just when it comes to just being dominant. You know what I mean? And so of course, um, they're both very influential, if you will. You know what I mean? In more ways than one, they're unquestioned leaders. You know, like I said, they're extremely formidable and highly influential. You know what I mean? So of course, that's why um, I have Charlotte and Emma Frost as comparisons, right? And so of course, for me, like I said, those are some of the comparisons I want to touch. Kurt Angle's Captain America as well. I mean, that speaks for itself. Kurt Angle is an Olympic gold medalist. Like I said, he's the ultimate, ultimate real American wrestler and whatnot. I mean, he won a gold medal with a broke freaking neck. Captain America, the greatest super soldier of all time. You know what I mean? And of course, he wears the Star Stripes. Of course, he's synonymous with the Shield. Like you know what I mean? Like he's synonymous, for that red, white, and blue shield. You know what I mean? So of course, they both carry the American banner very, very well. And like I said, those are some of the analogies that I wanted to use. Like I said, those are just some of the references and examples that I wanted to use. You know what I mean? Also a couple other ones. CM Punk as Red Hood, both problematic. You know what I mean? Like they're both set in their ways. They're both very prideful, very boastful. They're both, like I said, they both have no problem stepping on others in order to get to the top. You know what I mean? Like I said, they're both hotheads, right? And so both of them will burn you when they get a chance. Randy Orton, Legend Killer Randy Orton, is more so like Nightwing in the sense that you know he's like it's the same way that Robin stepped out of Batman's shadow to become Nightwing and establish his own identity and his own character. Randy Orton, as a Legend Killer, stepped out of the shadow of Triple H evolution. To eventually become the legend that he is now. I'll say like this: Burner Malite Randy Orton is Nightwing. Voices Randy Orton is Venom. And of course Randy Orton being the Viper, Venom, both very toxic. Like both ruthless, violent. They've committed their fair share of like fair share of murder. They've committed more than their fair share of murders. Like I said, they're both very poisonous, but at the same time they've become anti-heroes and have mended their ways, and they've even teamed like you said, Venom's even teamed up with Spider-Man to defeat Carnage, right? And so so Randy Orton's also been on the side of good. In fact, even with Arcade Bro, he's had some of the most fun he's ever had in his career. And so and also, like I said, not just that, but like I said, just when it comes to being on the side of right in WWE, he's more than had his fair share of moments. You know what I mean? And so like I said, just some of those, at least like I said, just some of those examples right there, are some of the ideas I had when it came to, like I said, just when it comes to wrestling, when it comes to comics, and because of the fact that I feel that both of them go side by side, hand to hand. So like I said, that's just a sample size of the many different examples I have lined up in my series of articles and also posts that the posts that I've shared on social media. And for Vince, and also another one I want to tackle Triple H's Thanos. You know what I mean? Because of the fact that Thanos has gone. Thanos has gone his whole life searching for the Infinity Stones. Triple H has gone his whole career. Like I said, Triple H has gone his whole career collecting world championships. His world titles are his Infinity Stones. They're both known for their physique. They're both very strategic. They both like to sit on thrones. You know what I mean? And so pretty much hand in hand. Vince, you can make a case for being either Lex Luthor, J. Jonah Jameson, Doctor Doom, wherever you want. But for me, I would say Lex just because they're both egotistical, power hungry billionaires. You know what I mean? Like who stop at absolutely nothing. To maintain their dominance and to stay at the top. You know what I mean? So those are some of the many examples that I have. You know and so of course make sure to follow me on social media for many more. So I thank you very much for those that have been watching by way of the Facebook group, by way of YouTube, those that are watching by way of Twitter, and of course, mentioned, for those that listen to this, the playback on iTunes, Spotify, Google Podcasts, or anywhere else that you download podcasts. So thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for listening, and thank you very much for the time like I said, to support this project, to support this idea that I have. So, like I said, once again, thank you very much for all for all your support, for all your encouragement, and may you have, like I said, may you have a great night, a great evening. Enjoy the rest of your week on